Dear aspiring candidates, welcome to University of Delhi. This is a demonstration video on how to fill the common university entrance test form. Before you visit the portal, kindly keep the following pointers in mind. The candidate should have a working email. The candidate should have a phone with an active number to receive one-time password. Candidate must have a document folder ready containing scanned copies of the following documents. A recent photograph without mask that should be either in color or black and white with 80% face visible including ears against a white background. The scanned photograph and signature should be in JPG/JPEG format. The size of the scanned photograph should be between 10 KB to 200 KB. The size of the scanned signature should be between 4 KB to 30 KB. The size of the scanned copy of the category certificate SC/ST/OBC/EWS should be in PDF between 50 KB to 300 KB. The size of the scanned copy of the Class 10/equivalent certificate should be in PDF between 50 KB to 300 KB. The size of the scanned copy of the PWBD certificate should be in PDF between 50 KB to 300 KB. Once you are ready with the documents, log into www.cuet.samarth.ac.in. Once you log into the CUET portal, go to the right-hand side of the web page and click on the Register tab. On clicking, the information bulletin will drop down. Candidates must read carefully the instructions given in the information bulletin. Candidates can apply for CUET 2022 through the online mode only. The application form in any other mode will not be accepted. Submission of application form should be made by the candidate online through this website only. This information bulletin also contains the steps for filling up the form. Step 1 is about filling the registration form. Step 2 is about filling the application form. Step 3 contains information on the fee payment. If a candidate opts for 4 tests or subjects, for candidates belonging to unreserved category, they need to pay 650 rupees. For OBC, non-creamy layer and economically weaker sections, the fee is 600. For candidates belonging to SC, ST, BWBD and third gender, the fee payment is 550 rupees. And for centers outside India, the fee payment for sitting for up to 4 number of tests or subjects, it is 3,000 rupees. Candidates who opt for 5 subjects will pay 650 if belonging to unreserved category, 600 for OBC, NCL and EWS, 550 for SC, ST, PWBD, third gender, and 3,000 rupees for centers outside India. All candidates must ensure that they have provided the correct email address and mobile number. It may be noted that information provided by the candidates in the respective online application forms like the name of the candidate, contact details, address details, category, gender, PWBD status, educational qualification details, date of birth, choice of exam cities, etc., will be treated as final. Any request for change in such particulars will not be considered under any circumstances. Candidates are advised to go through the important instruction about a password. Once a candidate has gone through the information bulletin, candidates are also advised to download the same for ready reference to be used during filling up of the form. At the end of the page, a candidate must click on the checkbox declaring that he or she has downloaded the information bulletin of CUET 2022 and has read and understood all the instructions therein as well as those mentioned above, and will fill up the online application form for the CUET 2022 accordingly. Upon clicking on the checkbox, the candidate must click on the tab to proceed for further application process. The registration form contains personal details which a candidate must fill up very carefully. The first tab is the candidate's name, which must be entered exactly as the same as registered in class 10 or equivalent qualifying examination. The second tab is the father's name, which must be exactly the same as registered in class 10 or equivalent qualifying examination. No prefix or title should be used. The mother's name must exactly be the same as registered in class 10 or equivalent qualifying examination. No prefix or title should be used. The guardian's name may also be filled up. The candidate's date of birth must be filled up as given in the certificates. The identity type asks for identity cards which may be used during the examination. The address of the candidate must be filled up. Under the Present Address tab, candidates are advised to fill in the details of the place that they are currently residing in. Candidates are advised to read the instructions given on the information bulletin for the creation of password. Password must be of 8 to 13 characters, must have one special character, one uppercase character, one lowercase character, one numeric value. The candidate must then enter the security PIN given on the web page and submit it to proceed further. On entering the security PIN, candidate will be directed to the review page. This page contains information which has been previously entered by the candidates. The candidate must review the details entered very carefully. If all the information are correct, then the candidate must check on the checkbox provided against name, father's name, email address, present address, date of birth, mother's name, mobile number, and permanent address. Following which the candidate must also click on the checkbox declaring that he or she has filled up the online application after carefully reading the information bulletin and fully understanding the provisions and procedures mentioned therein. If any problems are encountered or if any wrong information needs to be corrected, a candidate must use the edit button given on the left hand side of the page to edit any registration details. If all the information given are correct, then the candidate must click on the submit and send OTP to mobile button. A one-time password which has been sent to the mobile number may be entered in the OTP tab. After entering the OTP, candidates must also enter the security PIN. On entering the OTP and the security PIN, a candidate will be directed towards the application form. A candidate must click on the Continue Application Form tab to continue further. The application form contains personal details which a candidate must fill up very carefully. On the category, a candidate may select whether he or she is belonging to unreserved category, OBC, NCL, SC, ST, or EWS. If a person belongs to a PWBD category, a person must select yes on this tab or a no. The father's qualification may be selected as appropriate. A candidate must confirm the present address in this column again. If the present address is the same as the permanent address, the candidate must click on the checkbox provided. If a person is a ward of defense personnel or ex-serviceman, a person must select yes on this tab. If no, then the person must select no. If there is any claim for NCC quota, the option must be given as such. A candidate must click on the tab Save to proceed further. On clicking the Save button, a candidate will be directed to the application form Personal Details, wherein candidates are advised to go through the information they have submitted in the previous page very carefully. If any update for personal information is required, a candidate must click on the Update Personal Form tab. If they want to go back further, they may click on the left-hand side of the tab mentioning Back to Dashboard. If they want to proceed to the next section, provided all information are correct, then they will click on the Proceed to the Next Section tab to proceed further. The next section of the application form contains educational details. The first column asks about class 10 or equivalent educational details. The result status must be mentioned passed. The passing year must be mentioned in the second column. The qualifying exam must be 10th or equivalent. The place of schooling, whether rural or urban, must be mentioned. The type of school or college may be selected as either government school, government-aided private, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, and so on and so forth. The qualifying examination country must be mentioned in the next tab. The qualifying examination state may be mentioned in the following tab. The next column is on the board name. The details of the school may also be mentioned. The mode of result must be mentioned in the next tab, whether it is a percentage or a grade a student, a candidate must mention. The next section under the educational detail is of class 12 or equivalent educational details. The result status must either be mentioned as appearing or passed, whichever may be the case. Upon entering all the information, a candidate must save and proceed or go on or use the back tab. Once a candidate has finished filling up the educational details, a candidate must save the form to proceed further. The next step will give an opportunity to the candidates to update educational details if and when required. Once a candidate saves the application form, the candidate will be directed to the application form educational details update page, where candidate will be given an opportunity to verify the details which he or she has entered before. Candidates are advised to go through the details very carefully. If any update of educational form is required, candidates must tap on the Update Educational Form to update any details that may require updation. If they want to go to the previous section, they may click on the left-hand side of the previous section tab to go further back. If no corrections are required, a candidate must tap on the Proceed to Next Section tab to proceed further. Once the educational details are verified and confirmed by the candidate will be further directed to the application form for university and program selection. It must be noted that the applicants shall ensure that they have read and understood the eligibility criteria, qualification, and other conditions and understand the minimum required subjects of the program opted of the respective university for CUET 2022 examination. On this page, a candidate can select universities. To add more options, a candidate must make use of the Add tab. Using the Add tab, candidates may select n number of universities and n number of programs as required. Once appropriate programs are selected, a candidate may click on the University Program Selection Preview. The Preview tab will give an opportunity to the students to check the university they have selected as well as the program that they have selected for themselves. If any updation is required, a candidate may tap on the Update Program form in the middle. If they want to go back to the previous section, they can tap on the Previous Section tab. And if they want to proceed to next section, they will click on the Proceed to Next Section tab to proceed further. A candidate must read the rules for selection of test paper or subject described in CUET 2022 Information Bulletin. Candidate must select test paper or subject based on the eligibility criteria of the program or university in which the candidate wants to seek admission. A candidate can choose a maximum of any 3 languages from Section 1A and Section 1B taken together. Examination will be taken in 2 or more slots on different days depending on the subjects or tests taken by the candidates. However, in slot 1, which will be in morning shift, a candidate may take up to 4 tests only, and in slot 2, which will be in the afternoon shift, a candidate can take up to 5 tests. Combining slot 1 and slot 2 together, a candidate may take maximum 9 tests. For selection of paper or subjects for the first slot, a candidate must select a paper under Section 1A. On the domain-specific subject 1, a candidate may select one paper as per the eligibility criteria of the program he or she is interested in. If a candidate wants to apply for General Test Section 3, a candidate may opt for yes. If no, then the candidate may opt for no. If a candidate wishes to appear in more than 2 domain-specific subjects, candidate must select under the second slot. If an additional language from Section 1A or Section 1B in lieu of domain-specific subject is not applicable, then a candidate may click on the non-applicable tab. Upon selecting the number of papers that a candidate wishes to sit for, a candidate needs to click on the checkbox declaring that he or she has selected the above subjects for CUET 2022 examination and has understood that the selected subject is not liable to change or modified in the later stage of the application and examination. The candidate must then click on the Save button to proceed further. Once a candidate saves the tests or paper selection, the candidate will be further directed to the Update section of the application form, Test Paper or Subject Selection. Candidates are advised to go through this page very carefully. In case any modification is required, a candidate must tap on the Update Test Paper or Subject form for further updation. If they want to go to the previous section, candidate may tap on the Previous Section tab. If no changes are required, candidates must click on the Proceed to Next Section tab to proceed further. Candidate will be further directed to the examination center selection. Under the first tab, the candidate must select the question paper medium. The second tab will be to select the center city preference. 1, the next tab will be to select the center city preference 2. On selection of the center city preferences and the question paper medium, the candidate must save the form. On saving the form, the candidate will be directed to the Update page of Examination Center selection. Candidates are advised to verify the details they have entered in the Examination Center selection, and if the information they have seen is correct, they may proceed to the next section. If any updation is required, candidates may click on the Update Examination Center form. If they want to go to the previous section, they may click on the left-hand side of the tab mentioned Previous Section. On proceeding further, the candidates will be directed to the Upload Documents page. Candidates are advised to read the information bulletin to ensure that the correct documents are uploaded in the right size.